Hey everybody, it's Loretta Louvier, artist, art life coach. So today I actually, it's so funny. I put a title on this, but it disappears until I'm done. But anyway, you'll see the title when I'm done. So welcome to episode 35. Michelle. I had a really, really wild week. Carmel, I'm so glad you're here right in the beginning. I had a very, very, very radical week this week, and that's what I'm going to be talking about. Hi, Michelle. What happened was last week I told you that I might be here or I might actually be at hi, Carmel, that I might be at my art show. And what I found out is that the gallery or the salon is not open tonight. So I'm here in my room. But at any rate, what I didn't tell you about last week is that I wasn't quite sure I was going to have enough of my own artwork to put in this show. And these coincidental things happened. A friend of mine that just moved up to Longview, which is a senior citizen living facility, very, very beautiful in Ithaca, and she invited me up to her new place to talk to her about an issue that she was having, and just to see her new place, and it was beautiful. I went up there. Now it would be going on 2 weeks ago. So with this coming Sunday, it'll be 2 weeks that I went up there. So I'm visiting my friend, and she knows I'm an artist, and she was telling me about her living in the place she's living. We had our conversation that she had wanted to talk about, and then she said, "Oh, I want to show you this woman's art. My new neighbor does this incredible art, and she has it all throughout the facility, and the facility is big, it's huge, and there's lots of floors, and they have art all over the place from people that live there. I think it's all people that live there, and it's beautiful, and this woman's art is just really beautiful, and I loved it. And then she told me, my friend told me, she's also a poet, and she said, I don't even like poetry, but this woman's poetry is really great. So at any rate, I'm like, wow, maybe this woman would want to, she's 90, maybe this woman would want to put her artwork in the show that I'm doing, because I could see that she had a similar sense of humor. I could see our artwork would look really good together. It was really compatible. And I thought, if she likes my art, if I show her my art, she'll get it, that we're very, very, very connected somehow, right? So anyway, my friend took me to the dining room where they all have dinner at 5:30, and she said, I'm pretty sure that this woman Annette will be there. She's always there for dinner. So we went, and the dining hall is filled with her art. So I mean, it was just all over the place. I loved it. So at any rate, she walks me right up to Annette, and she introduces me. And I kind of want to say she was a little old lady, but she was actually a big old lady. She was kind of big, but she was in her automated wheelchair, and she had oxygen. And she's 90 years old. So at any rate, my friend introduced me, and I said, I'm an artist too, and I'm doing a show, and I think our art is compatible. Would you like to put some pieces in the show? And she thought about it, and she said, yeah, I would. And she had kind of this deep New Jersey accent. So she just made me happy. So she said, yeah, well, why don't you come up during the week and we'll pick out some art, see what you like. So I'm like, okay, I want you to put in what you want. So anyway, by Thursday, I had to get up there. So I got up there Thursday. She met me. We went all through the facility. she introduced me to a friend of hers who was the person that hung all the artwork. And, you know, she made a list of all the work we took, blah, 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 right? So anyway, I took it. She was like, now don't go over any big bumps, because her art was all framed in glass, you know. And you know, I'm like, I'm an artist, I'm not gonna mess your art up, you know, I'm careful. So anyway, I took her art. I asked my husband to help me hang it, so I picked out my stuff. And Saturday we went down to the salon, and we hung her stuff. I put it very prominently right in the entranceway, where people, the waiting area where people sit and have the longest time to kind of look around. I took her poetry books, I put them on the table. And then I had to go back up to her apartment on Sunday to get her bio and her price list. And there was one piece that I couldn't put up because of the way the hanging system was. It just didn't, I couldn't hang it anywhere. But anyway, so went back up there, and you know, she was like her feisty self. I couldn't find the place, and she goes, I'm going to be at my front. I'm going to come out my door. I mean, you can't miss it. I think she was looking at me from her apartment, and she just yells out, Loretta. And I'm like, oh, there it is. And I, you know, went over to her apartment, and she said she was feeling sick, and, you know, I didn't want to kind of tie her out. My husband was in the car and stuff. So anyway, got her stuff, and I was planning to go down Tuesday when the gallery or the salon opened up again. And Monday morning, my friend that introduced me to her called me, and she said, Annette passed away this morning. So this makes me so sad, because I said to her when I was leaving her on Sunday, she goes, I hope I live long enough to see the show. And I said, promise me that you will, Nat. I'm like, promise me you're going to see this show. And she didn't get to see it. I mean, she had her art all over the place in Longview. So there's so much of it. But anyway, she didn't get to see this. And the last thing that she said to me was, so get working on the next show. So I'm like, yeah, I am. So this was a mind-blowing experience, because it was a woman that I knew for a week that I fell in love with in the last week of her life. And I saw this 91-year-old woman living in a senior facility on oxygen in a wheelchair, working up to the last day of her life. I mean, the last day of her life, she's handing me stuff to put in an art show, which was just such a radical coincidence that this happened. So anyway, the story keeps going. Hi, Britt. Mwah. The story keeps going. And what ended up happening next is, you know, I'm mind blown. I went down and I told, you know, the gallery or the salon owner, Debbie, my friend Debbie, I told her the story, and I'm like, you know, I'm going to show her stuff for the whole month, but I want to write something up about it. So I did. I wrote the Loretta and Annette story, which is a week long. So anyway, I you know, put her bio up, and it's so much fun. I mean, I just have to read you one thing. Well, anyway, let me just continue my story. So then I'll read you that part. But anyway, I told a guy that I worked with about the story the week before, so I didn't get to tell him that she died. And I was telling a friend of mine that I met in our co-op, you know, in the grocery store. I met a friend of mine, and I said, I knew she would be really moved by this story, and I told her the story, and she goes, wait a minute, I just read that name. I know that name. And that's when I realized there was an obituary in the paper, and that was yesterday. So I bought the paper, I got the obituary, I read it. That's one thing I wanted to just, let me read the opening statement of her obituary. It says, Annette Korth, I have no ticket, but my bags are packed. I await the conductor's call. That was the opening line of her obituary. And I don't know who wrote it. It was from one of her poems. So anyway, I'm looking at the obituary, and I'm telling this friend of mine that I had told about how I met her and everything. I said, and she died. And as I'm looking at that, I see this. Here she is. Let me just show you her picture. All right, I don't know if you can see it. That's a cover of her book, of her flying. I'm trying to hold it for you, okay? And it was a recent picture. So I'm looking at the obituary, and I see this guy, and I'm like, let me hold that up to you. I'm like, what a pleasant face that guy has. And then I looked away back at her, we're talking about her, and I looked back again, and I realized it's a friend of mine, Joe. And so I just have had this. He was a guy that had diabetes. He lost many body parts. He lost both legs, arm, part of his hand that was left. I mean, and the thing about him that was so amazing is I have never met a person that with just a ton of faith. He and his wife were really good friends, and it's a guy that we pray for every morning. Every single morning we pray for this guy and his wife. But anyway, he died the exact same morning as Annette, and I'm just like radically moved because death, smacks you in the face. Death just takes you and shakes you, for me, right? For anybody. So anyway, that's what has happened to me this week. And the title, I'm sorry about how I am about my titles and my comments. One of the things that I said about this situation is I am taking this personally. I am taking these two people that I felt I love, and I'm taking their deaths really personally because, the older you get, like somebody commented and she said to me, Loretta, you have had a lot of losses this year, and I have. And the older you get, the more people you lose, So at any rate, it's making me think, what am I going to do with the rest of my life, with the time that I have? And I just want to like really go full out, live my rest of my life without hiding, without being a chicken, without worrying about what that guy says about me, what those people say about me. I just, that has to just really flake off and just really just fall away. That anything about that has got to go now. So anyway, I just feel like I'm on my way to just having some freedom, freedom in life that I don't think I've ever had before, where I've allowed other people's ideas of who I am or who I want them to think I am. I've been talking about this on Facebook Live for almost a year. But anyway, this, like I said, is just in my face. So things are going to change. So I wrote down a couple of things just that I'm checking. I basically wanted to tell you guys that story, but so what I wrote down is about living my life full out. It's about art and life and love and relationships and coaching. And one of the things that I wanted to say about coaching is like I'm really a great coach, whether you guys know it or not. I'm really good, and I'm putting it out there that I'm ready to coach you guys, who's ever comes on this, to really live full out too. And what I really wanted to say is just, message me and we'll do it together, because this has opened up my eyes in a way. I lost my mom. We lost Tony's parents. People have died in my life, but there was something about this that was very, 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 very different. It just, the timing, the meeting this woman who was an artist and a poet, and seeing her, what she did in her life. Anyway, so my mind was blown. That was my crazy week. I don't know if I'm going to be going to her service or not. I'm going to my friend Joe's service on Monday. Just, I don't know. It's just a crazy, crazy story. So anyway, that is basically it. I'm living my life. So message me if you want to, if you want to talk, if you want to just have a chat, a free talk, just talk. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say. So I love you guys. I'm just having an altered state experience. I'm in an altered state, and I know it. So this was my week 35, and that's it. I'm basically, I wanted to tell you the story. So you guys, thanks for being here. Thanks for listening to me, and there'll be more. Something's up. More is happening. So right now, though, this is the end of my Facebook Live for episode 35. So thanks for showing up. Mwah. I love you guys. Get in touch with me. Leave a message. Whatever you want to do. I just, I don't know. It's like life and death and life again. So, mwah. Bye-bye.